You and me both know that music production is not that simple. But you know, the one thing that all the people ask me all the time is not how to compress something and this and that, how to EQ. It's how to write a good melody. Like the people that have no idea about music production, they will ask me, how do you come up with melodies? That's so weird to me. How is it possible to think about a melody? So in this video, I want to show you my secret technique, how to form a melody from zero, from scratch, and how to have like different parts of this melody to have variation over the track all at once. You're gonna know all the secrets after this video. So let's jump right in. So when you see and hear this pattern, you probably don't think that's too difficult, right? So you see there's only 3 notes being played. We only have all the notes on the same pitch, right? So this is actually all you need as a core foundation for the technique I'm about to show you in this video. What is it all about? Let's start from the beginning. So this is how you should begin the technique. You should sit down and either do it on the piano or do it in the piano roll as a MIDI and just find something that seems interesting to you. So it doesn't have to be complicated. As you see, this is the basic idea I created here. I can show you another one. We have a second example. So it's just some rhythm in there, right? We can see that there's an interesting rhythm. And same here. This is just like kind of repetitive. Dum, 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 dum. That's in the brain, right? But it's nothing too special. So the technique now revolves around taking this basic idea and step by step building it up toward something that is more complex and that can also be spread out across the track, because you might know the situation that you sit here and you work on a melody and you go, we need a note here and here and here, whatever, right? And then in the end, when you arrange your track, you have this one pattern which is super complex and you have no idea how to actually arrange it, because when you want to arrange it, what you would need is maybe in the beginning you would need something like this. And then after 1 minute, you would maybe add another note, another rhythm, and would slowly build it up. So you can see all those different clips here. We're going to go them step by step now. The first one I built out of the basic idea is the rhythm. So you can see this is this. And that means this note is that note, right? Just shifted the octaves here a little bit. And let's have a listen. Right, to make it even a little bit clearer, those 3 are the basic idea that we had, just looped a little shorter. And then I added a little bit of rhythm, like which fits the basic idea. And this I didn't even do on the piano. Like the basic idea I wrote on the piano, as I said, wrote. But this I just went here and I said, okay, let's do this. Let's go down with the velocity a little bit. Maybe one here, maybe one there, right? And don't really think about it too much. Just play around a little bit, and when something appeals to you, like when you think, this is actually a nice groove, there's something interesting about it, just leave it like this and you already have your rhythm. So now comes the magic step, the one that is totally taking this technique to another level. So when you have the rhythm, you will go and add melodic depth to it, which means you shift some notes. You can see this here very well. Some of the notes have left the actual space they were in, like here and here. And yeah, let me play it for you. So all of a sudden we have a melody. And actually it's already a pretty nice melody, even though we haven't done too much. So what was happening here is I added some notes 1 octave higher, to have some like kind of accents, you could say. And then I added only 2 notes that feature a different pitch than the G, right? We have the G2 and G3 here and G1 down here. So the whole thing is going to be written in G minor, which you can see from the second and the third note of the scale here, the A and the A sharp. And that was just chosen random. I mean, I didn't really like, I tried something. I probably tried something like this. I probably tried something, I don't know, maybe the fifth, right? There could be different stuff you can try. And there will be something that will just fit the rhythm. Maybe you have to experiment a little more here and there, but it's actually like you can have in your mind, keep it as simple as possible, don't overdo it. And you can see I only had those 2 notes, and then I was like, okay, maybe it would be nice to have some higher octaves note to make an accent here and there. And most importantly, our basic idea, those 3 notes, is still here, right? So now you can see there's more to come. So you maybe remember back in school when we did poems, right? Everybody did poems in school. And when it was about rhyming and when we tried to explain how something rhymes in a poem, we used this technique of saying it's an AABB poem, right? Or it could be an ABAB poem, which means the A rhymes with the A verse and the B rhymes with the B verse. So writing a melody can actually feature a very similar concept. You can see here I called this pattern A-B melodic. So what that means is, from the melodic pattern that we have here, you can see length is 2, right? Now I'm going to the next one, the A-B melodic, which has length 4, twice the length, and you can see it looks like it is the same, but it's not quite. You can actually see that there's only 2 notes, those 2, and then also the position of those 2 is shifted a little bit. And this is called an A-B melody. I'm going to play it for you and then have some more words about it. So I'm pretty sure you already get what's happening here. It's just a little variation of the actual melody. So this one is the one we had here. And this one just varies a little bit in those 2 notes. We go from the G, let's unfold this. We go from the G on both positions here to the F in both positions, which is the 7th note of the A minor scale, and just changes up the feeling a little bit, and therefore is the perfect variation to the A melody. So we have an A and a B, and that means over the time of 4 bars, it will already not be like repeating too much for the listener, right? And you have to imagine, like, he hears this, you'll be like, okay, this is the melody. And then there's a slight variation, and it's interesting and appealing for the listener. And now, bear with me, we can even take this to another level. Look at this. This is the ACBC melodic pattern. So, what is this now? You can kind of see already we have the same structure here. And then we have something that looks a little similar, but not 100%. So I would say we have a listen once again, and then we have a look at what's happening here. Okay, so what is happening now? The ACBC pattern is maybe the most effective, the best pattern you could say for a melody. And why is that? So let's look at it like this maybe, so we can see all the notes but still have some, right? So we can let's look at it like this, so we can see all the notes. And I already told you we know those 2. This is the A and B from our A-B melodic pattern. But now, in between those 2, you can see we're now again doubling the length, right? We came from 2 to 4 to 8 bars now, which is already quite long, right? Keep that in mind. Now we are filling every, like the third and the fourth bar, as well as the seventh and the 8th bar, with something that is even a little bit different once again to the A and B. And this time we made a bigger difference, like we actually left away all those notes, respectively all those notes, and only used those two, and those two here. And then we also have a slight difference, but this is essentially just a change in octave right here, right, from G2 to G1. And this AC-BC pattern is so interesting to us because, you know, you hear something, it varies. You hear something that reminds you of something else that you heard before, and then it varies again, but it's kind of the same thing that it varied before. You know, so basically you have a nice change of variation every here and there, but it's not too much, so you still can focus on the actual melody. So this is also very important in the whole technique. Actually, you can see that we are still kind of close to the actual starting point, which was the rhythm, and we always have our basic idea implemented into the melody somehow. Like this we can find, let me copy it actually, like this, and for example here, right, we have to go like this. Here we can see this is still the same idea, but just obviously shifted in pitch, and also right here, right, and here. Yeah, and we could also do it here with the first note being in the beginning. So keep that in mind when using this technique. And the AC-BC is kind of the final step of your melody creation. And now I just want to show you a special pattern that you can create very easily now if you already have all those patterns in mind, right? And if you already played a little bit. So you can see this very much looks like the AC-BC, right? We have A and C, and then we have also B, but B is kind of shifted down, and C now looks like A and B, but is a little shifted down as well. So this is perfect for like breaks or the very special moment that you want to create. Up until now, we have been on the root note with our melodic pattern, right? We have always been around the G and just shifted some notes here and there, but it always revolves around the root note, which is also why it's very stable, and which is also very good for having a beat running underneath and, like, you know, keeping the listener close and also kind of hypnotized, which is a common thing for electronic dance music, right? You want to kind of keep the people in a kind of hypnotic state. And what's happening here now is instead the base of the pattern, right, the base of those little fractions here shifts. So now here, right, we shift down to the D sharp, and here we can bring this up one octave. We shift down to the D as the center of the pattern and even put it down an octave. And this creates some kind of, you can imagine this like a bass player would play G the whole track, and then suddenly from G he goes to D sharp and D and then back to G. So that's just very interesting and cool, as I said, for a break or like the very, very special moment in your track to break up the structure a little bit, have some more melodic depth, and then also bring it back to something that is very easy. So now, since we have all those patterns, in the end, I would always have another look at how you can reduce the melody you had. So what I did here is I did another reduced version. And this one is very interesting because it leaves away our basic idea now, right? This was always in the end. It was always like dum dum bum 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 bum. But now it's kind of gone, and we all only have the start of the pattern Here's one note, right? So this is like a little teaser. Can be used in a break, can be used in the beginning of a track, right? You can think about it in different ways. And then we have the basic notes here. Which is basically what we had in the beginning, the basic idea, right? Without this note. And I did this in the end when I was thinking about the track a little bit and like the melody that I created now, like, you know, this happened in the beginning, we did all of this, and now in the end we can think of what's the best way to reduce this to a minimum. So this note I think is not necessary if I think about how to arrange this. So for you guys, as a free download, I prepared all those MIDI files here so you can check the technique, like building up a melody from scratch, from nothing, right? From this very, very basic idea. So you can check it out for yourself. And I want to draw your attention though to our mentorship, just very fast in this video. So look at this. This is a kind of fully arranged track, mainly with the lead, right? We have some drum arrangement here, but that's very simple. We would also need some more sounds, but what it's showing you is where to place the different patterns, right? And this is obviously not 100%, right? You don't always have to do it like this, but this is a good starting point. And for the people of our mentorship, they get this whole Ableton project where they can put in their own sounds and try the MIDI files for themselves. So if that sounds interesting for you, and if you want to get weekly content for every YouTube video on top of the free downloads, then you should consider joining the mentorship, where you can also get feedback from our mentorships to your track and get to know the people in our community. Everybody loves making music there, and you will have a great time. But now let's jump on to the lead 2. Let's do this a little faster now. I want to show you the technique now a little faster. We already discussed everything, so basic idea first. Now let's jump to the rhythm. So what I did here now is some kind of rolling 16th melody, and I played a lot with the accents, right? You can see that there's different velocities. All those notes are very, very low in velocity, the lowest actually. And then we have some accents here. And I try to implement the basic idea into this rolling 16th note melody by using the velocities. So now we come to the melodic add, and that's not much. You can see it's only I wanted to point with the finger. It's only the G changing to the G sharp, and those 3 Gs here, right? They go up to G sharp and A sharp. So what does it sound like? So in this little scratch of a melody here, I'm using the +1, which is not in the usual minor or major scale, right? But it's very, very nice for electronic music and for techno. And yeah, it's just a nice trick to use this note. It creates a lot of tension, which I think you can hear in this example very well. Now in the A-B melodic, you can see there's again a little bit of difference also in the rhythm. Like there's some more accents added. Let's have a listen to that. I think that's pretty obvious that this is somehow the same, right? With those notes somehow being the same, not completely. But then again, it gives a little bit of a different rhythm. And that's just the very pleasing way of having this A and B melody happening. Now for the A, C, B, C melody. So once again, this is identical here, except for the end, where we have this little pyramid, side of a pyramid going up, just a little more of an ear candy in the end. Doesn't always have to be used, I would say. And yeah, we have the A and the B pattern here. And from here we can move to the special pattern, which once again changes the kind of foundation of the pattern a little bit, right? Let's have a listen to this. And by now, I'm sure you probably already understood how this technique works, and I don't want to stop you from trying it out for yourself. Grab the free MIDI files, right? All of them are available as a free download for you, and just start checking those out, forming your own basic ideas, and from there, you know how it works. Get a rhythm, get a melodic kind of attitude to it, do an A-B melodic version, do an A-C-B melodic version, and if you're feeling very special today, then even do a special version where you can like change some more notes and use it in breaks or special moments of your track. I hope you enjoyed this video and this technique actually helps you to write better melodies. For me, it's very like groundbreaking, a very, very useful technique. And yes, see you very soon for another video. Until then, have a great time and keep making music.